the city. Maybe you should drive a Yukon. Pick up whenever you call. In the parking lot in Tucson.
It's a new year and the FX3 still does not want to retire, and most people argue it's the best cinema camera you can buy. There's been so many new cameras coming out in the last year, in the last few months, and so many more due to come out this year. 4 years later, or in fact 5 years later, is still one to pick up. So today in this video, I want to break down why I picked up this FX3 and why I still plan to use it as one of my main video cameras for the year going forward. The FX3 is an expensive bit of gear. I was upgrading from the Sony A7 IV. This is my favorite hybrid camera. Don't get me wrong, it has a 33 megapixel sensor. So yes, the A7 IV can shoot 4K video. However, it's limited up to 4K 60, which is cropped. I've become a lot more video centric, so I'm taking way more videos, and what I found was the A7 IV can produce great quality videos. Make sure you check out my video explaining why it's my favorite hybrid camera to shoot with. But the FX3 just takes it to that next level, and that's one of the reasons why I felt necessary to invest a bit more into buying a more capable video camera. The recording capabilities is one of the main reasons why I picked up the FX3. I'm gonna walk in frame. Look at how quick that autofocus is. That's one of the things I really like about the FX3. The autofocus never seems to fail me, and I think Sony does a great job at getting that autofocus system working well. The FX3 is a full frame sensor, so it captures the full image and so much detail. What I like about the camera in particular is how it captures so much details in the shadows and even in low light, but I'll talk about that when I get inside a bit later. Beyond that, the color science on the camera really is impressive. This is a shoot I done earlier in the year, and look how the colors pop no matter the complexion. One thing I will say about having the FX3 is that it's taught me a lot about the importance of lighting. Ironically enough, having such an expensive camera encouraged me to make sure I'm using it to its full capabilities. A lot of people say gear doesn't matter, which I definitely agree with. It is true. For most people, you don't need a camera of this quality, but if you do, you're going to do a massive disservice if you don't use it correctly. It's taught me the importance of being prepared for your shoots and making sure you've considered lighting. So right now I've got the ND filter on top of the lens to make sure everything isn't overexposed, which I think it might be. Just judge that. Open that down a little bit. Perfect. I spent a lot of time learning about lighting, understanding about filming and framing, and ensuring I'm getting the best out of the camera. I put a lot of money into this, but not thought to myself that the money will make the camera better. Rather, me becoming a better filmmaker will make the whole entire process a lot better. One reason why I bought this camera was specifically for 120 FPS shooting. So
heard you one time to the mob. Heard that you trying to get involved with us. Heard that you trying to come ball with us. We don't do that shit at all. I'll be waiting on y'all. Y'all just be waiting to ball. Y'all be on shit. None of that all. I just built this side. I just built this side. I'm about diamond dollars. Y'all so broke that boys inside. I stood out with that side.
So the FX3 really does shine in the low light. That was very cheesy, wasn't it? It has something called a dual native ISO. The higher the ISO, the more noise you're going to get in your footage, essentially meaning the less quality. However, because it has two ISO levels, it has one 800, which is pretty standard for most cameras, but it has a second base ISO of 12,800. This is significantly higher. So when I'm shooting DJ sets or anything late at night with limited lighting, it still looks good. It's almost like I have night vision in the camera, because it does honestly surprise me how good the videos look in low light. And sometimes it feels like it's overly well lit, because there has been situations where the lighting hasn't been the best. So I've cranked up the ISO to 12,800 and I've still needed an ND filter because it's just so bright. And the best part is the footage is not noisy and more than enough exposure to ensure everything can be color graded and still look good. The FX3 was definitely designed as a video camera that can take pictures. If you look at the build and design of the camera, it is tailored and catered for videographers. Not only does it have 3 different recording buttons, but it also has buttons dedicated to white balance, ISO, even iris controls, and this is things that you just don't see on many other mirrorless cameras. And these small little adaptations make a big difference as some of the shooting videos. So one thing I like specifically about the button placements on the camera is the fact that I have the recording button, which is right up here, which is actually quite a nice size. And when you press it, the tally lights go on. All I have to do is take a quick glance to make sure one of these lights are on, whether it's the light on the front here, the light on the back here, or the light at the top. As long as I see that light on, I know I'm recording. The grip is actually really nice and very comfortable in the hand, but what I like about that is force your finger onto the joystick at the top, and this joystick can be used to control your autofocus, navigate the menus. Overheating was a problem that I faced in my A7 IV. Even this video I recorded, the camera still overheated, but my FX3 has never once overheated on me. They had that in mind when they designed the camera, to make sure there's some sort of cooling system to keep the camera cool. Most cameras don't have a lot of mounting points. In fact, most cameras only have one, and that is one mounting point on the bottom of the camera. Although I do have a cage on the FX3, if I didn't have a cage, I still have access to 4 different mounting points from the top of the camera, the bottom of the camera, and then 2 on the side. And for most people, that is more than enough, especially when you attach accessories or even use things like magic arms to put the camera in unique perspectives, or even attach things to get another set of unique perspectives. So I can load a lot onto the camera, and when I'm recording in real time, I can get a real life preview of what the footage actually looks like whilst I'm recording. That small little feature there does make a massive difference, because it means that I can be more comfortable recording in real time. There's been times where I've recorded and things haven't looked exactly how I wanted to in the final edit, purely because the exposure wasn't exactly how I wanted it to be. So the hardware for the FX3 hasn't changed, but what has changed over the years is the firmware, and this has made the FX3 better and better each year, because these small little changes make a massive difference. For example, last year we saw shutter angle being introduced, record directly to RAW. These small firmware pushes keeps the FX3 regularly updated. This is a camera that Sony has not forgotten about and is regularly updating. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the price. The FX3 is a very expensive bit of gear, and I don't think it really is for everybody. So sorry to burst your bubble. However, although it is a professional bit of gear, don't let that word professional scare you away. It's almost 5 years old, so the second-hand market is starting to boom a little bit and is becoming a little bit more available and also more affordable, where you can see some massive discounts. But who would I say this camera really is for? I think it's mainly for the professionals and people who are considering a return on investment on spending money on a camera. If you're buying a camera to make money, then it's a no-brainer, because this really can get a significant return on your investment. If you're a content creator looking to get your own content, I'd steer you more towards something like the FX30 or even something in the ZV-E1 range. Those cameras use a similar sensor to the FX3 with a few less features, but they're catered more to content creators at a lower price. The FX3 is a camera I trust and will recommend to most professionals looking to get the best out of their video camera. If you want a dedicated comparison between something like the A7 IV and the FX3, drop a comment below and I'll get that video sorted. With that being said, keep creating and enjoy. I'm out. Peace.